Welcome back, young students of chemistry. This lesson is on covalent nomenclature. Covalent compounds are molecules, so sometimes covalent compounds, sometimes we would say it is molecular nomenclature. So that's where this molecular word comes into play here. So it is a system for compounds composed of two non-metallic elements. You learned back in Unit 2, it may have even been in Unit 1, that compounds that start with a metal are ionic. Compounds containing nonmetals are covalent. So basically it's this set of rules. The first element keeps its name. The first element gets a prefix if it has a subscript. The second element always gets a prefix. Always. The second element gets a suffix "-ide. Always. So these are the prefixes that you need to put in your steel trap. Mono meaning 1, di meaning 2, tri meaning 3, tetra meaning 4, penta 5, hexa, hepta, octa, nano, and so on. So what you're going to do when you're looking at these compounds is you're just going to interpret the prefixes or add prefixes. I'm just going to do a couple of these with you because I really don't think you need an extraordinary amount of information from me on this. It's pretty straightforward. So we know that there's no prefix here, which means 1, and di means 2. We know that carbon symbol is C, and oxide stands for oxygen on the periodic table. So this compound contains 1 carbon, 2 oxygens. CO2, carbon dioxide. So sometimes students get all confused and they want to use charges. Covalent compounds do not form ions. There are no ions in covalent compounds. Ionic compounds have ions. Ions, ionic, right? There are no ions here, so charges don't matter. We're just using prefixes. We have the prefix mono on the second one, 1 carbon, 1 oxygen, carbon monoxide. The prefix di means 2, phosphorus is P, pent is 5, oxide is oxygen, so it's P2O5. Please remember that compound formulas have symbols and subscripts. Be intentional with your uppercase and lowercase letters. One more, dinitrogen is N2, monoxide, O. Dinitrogen monoxide. So if we're naming it, we just do the opposite. We look at here and we go 2 is di. What is N? Nitrogen. So dinitrogen. 4 prefix is tetra. Oxygen becomes oxide. Now, typically we don't write the A and the O next to each other, so we would drop the A and just do tetroxide. If you left the A in there, I wouldn't rake you over the coals. I would just be like, get rid of one of those vowels. It's too many vowels. Here we have 1 sulfur, 3 oxygens. Sulfur does not get a prefix because it does not have a subscript. 3 oxygens, the prefix for 3 is tri. Oxygen becomes oxide. Nitrogen does not get a prefix because it does not have a subscript. Second element always gets a prefix, and the prefix for 1 is mono. So this is monoxide. Again, we do not put 2 O's next to each other. Last one I'm going to do with you, and then I want you to finish this sheet. Nitrogen does not get a prefix because there's no subscript. The prefix for 2 is di. Oxygen becomes oxide. Okay, so what you need to do is finish up these practice. So you need to pause the recording and finish the practice, and then come back and check your work. Okay, I hope you did your classwork with integrity, and now you can check your work.